I'm usually a calm type of guy. You guys know this from my videos. But this discussion makes me really angry. A lot of people try and say that Magic Johnson is not the best point guard of all time. And it confuses me because who else is supposed to be the best point guard of all time? I mean, he's the best player of all time. Some people might say LeBron. I'm going to make a video probably in the future on why Magic Johnson is superior to LeBron. But we've got right here Stephen Curry, apparently the best point guard of all time. And for me, this makes no sense. As you guys can see, I've got a table here. We start with the field goal percentage. If we take a look at this, Magic Johnson has a 52% field goal percentage, whereas Stephen Curry only has 46. And this means a lot because apparently Steph Curry is supposed to be the best shooter of all time, whereas Magic Johnson is apparently supposed to suck at shooting. Ring total. We've obviously got Magic Johnson with his 5 hard-worked rings, as I talked about before. And Steph Curry has 4 rings, which is less. And each of these rings also means less. Because of the Warriors dynasties. Yes, dynasties with an S at the end. But we'll talk about those later. We then move on to the eye test. Magic Johnson has the eye test under control with his beautiful passing play, his beautiful moves. It's amazing to watch. Curry, on the other hand, is basically watching a child who doesn't understand basketball just throwing the ball. Imagine you gave a baby a ball, you showed it a hoop, told it to try and make it. That is what watching Curry is like, only he'll make them. And then we've got points per game, which in my opinion is a bad argument. Steph Curry has 24 points per game. Magic Johnson has 19 points per game. But as I've said before, Magic Johnson had to play with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He had to focus more on passing, assisting. He wasn't really the scorer type of player. Okay? I'll repeat that again. Magic Johnson played with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was not really a scoring type player. We then move over to the assists, which, in my opinion, I don't know about you guys, with your position as basketball, but assists are very important for a point guard to have because it's one of the fundamentals of the position. The point guard is the person who gets a lot of assists. 6 is not a lot of assists per game, guys. We then move over to the 3-point percentage, which is arguably the most ridiculous argument of all of these. Because if you take a look at it, Stephen Curry has a higher 3-point percentage, but 3-point line. I made a mistake, guys. I'm really sorry. Here we go. Steph Curry had a higher 3-point percentage at the time. Where shooting 30s was basically expected by a point guard. So if Magic Johnson was put into this situation, he'd probably have a higher 3-point percentage than Stephen Curry. And now we're going to move on to the dynasties argument. And I don't think the Lakers were a dynasty. I just think that they were good, whereas Steph Curry's team was a dynasty. Sorry. We start off with the first dynasty, which was the 73-9 dynasty, which only won one ring, which was pre-Kevin Durant. And then we have the post-Kevin Durant one, which won 2 rings and made it to another finals game. And then we've also got the 2022 ring, where he did win a finals MVP. Remember, guys, he only has one finals MVP. Stephen Curry, the big finals performer, only has one finals MVP. Who has the others? Kevin Durant has 2, because he was the best player in the world while they were playing. That's a fact. And Andre Iguodala. Okay?
Now let's move on to rebounds per game. Obviously, we know that Magic Johnson has 7, while Stephen Curry only has 6. 7 is a bigger number than 6. Rebounds are one of the most important parts of the game. And in that category, Magic Johnson is significantly better than Stephen Curry.
We then move over to the career high assists argument, which is a big one because, as I said before, players are supposed to be able to assist at the point guard position. Magic Johnson had 24 assists, and despite Curry with his little catch and shoot entourage, he only was able to manage 16. And then we move on to the career high points, which in my opinion is quite ridiculous. Because Magic Johnson wasn't a scorer. He was more of an assister. So yes, Curry had 62 during the pandemic where there were no fans. I don't know if he would have hit that otherwise, but that's an argument for another day. But 46 is a lot for a player who had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on his team. And then finally, we go over to the fan base. Okay. Magic Johnson has smarter and more mature fans. They just know more about basketball. You know, they understand the eye test is important, but they also put a lot of emphasis on analytics. You know, they have the perfect balance. I am a Magic Johnson fan. We have a lot of basketball IQ, a lot of understanding, and are overall pretty smart people. Whereas Curry fans are mostly little kids who have a low IQ and don't understand things, don't have a grasp on things, which is fine, you know, because when you're younger, your brain isn't fully developed. So you just kind of look at something that's pretty to look at for like little kids. But when you grow up, they'll realize Magic Johnson is the real greatest point guard of all time. Magic Johnson is considered one of the best passers of all time, which he obviously isn't the best passer of all time.